Dear Princess Sunbutt, Letter 107.
Dear Princess Bunshine, the full story is boring, so I'll give you the short version. The orphanage in insert horse pun was in a really shitty spot, right? Walls were moldy, windows were broken, ceiling didn't work, it was all kinds of bad. I tried getting the owner of the building to do something, but she said the insurance money for repairs was being used to buy food for the orphans. Being the law-abiding citizen I am, I was morally outraged by such a clear case of insurance fraud. However, I do have a heart, albeit a purple one. Instead of reporting her to the police, I checked the insurance policy to see if the building was covered for fire. It was. I knew that if she burned down the building, it could be seen as a different form of insurance fraud, and I refused to let the law be broken so easily. So, I took matters into my own horn and burned down the orphanage myself. My plan was foolproof on paper. I would pretend to be an angel delivering orphans from squalor by burning down their metaphorical prison, and Miss Fuck's-her-name would use the money to buy a better place. Unfortunately, paper is in practice, and as it turns out, giving yourself a halo does not automatically make everything you do morally good or legal. I was not aware of this. Said lack of awareness is also not a valid legal defense. Who knew? If there was a lesson to be learned, it's currently buried under the ashes of an orphanage. It's safer there. Your holy hellfire, Twilighter.
From Her Royal Highness Bunshine, RE Letter 107.
To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Twilight, contrary to popular belief, fire is not the answer to all problems. While fire may be tangentially involved in the problem-solving process, rarely is its direct application going to result in the desired outcome. I encourage you to spend your time awaiting a trial for insurance fraud and/or arson, thinking of ways you could have solved the problem of structural and monetary instability of an orphanage. I will offer this as an example to get you started. Following instead the trail of bits that should be leading towards said orphanage from the Crown's coffers. Using your prodigious magical capabilities in conjunction with your friend's voluntary support to repair the orphanage yourself. And ask the orphanage matron what she thinks would be most helpful for a long-term solution. Looking up another lawyer for you, Princess Celestia. Dear Anon, on the Twilight Bucks Up bingo, does this count as C3? Burning down an orphanage and A1, solving problems with fire, or just C3? Your friend, Tia. P.S. Please forward me the actual information for the orphanage. Such institutions are supposed to be pulling a stipend from the Crown, in addition to donations to support costs such as food, water, education, and structural stability. Some pony is going to have a very bad day.
Letter 108.
Dear Princess Solaroid, today I learned that shrinking yourself down to the size of a baby does not make it acceptable to suck your girlfriend's tits in public, nor does it give you an excuse to throw a screaming tantrum when told to stop said tit sucking. I will be more discreet with my public indecency in the future. You're sucky for good lucky, the Nippler.
Oh yeah, a Solaroid is a solar Polaroid. You guys don't have Polaroids here. Earth 1, Ponyland 0. Love Anon. From Her Royal Highness Solaroid, RE Letter 108.
To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Twilight, public indecency is really very difficult to accomplish, given that ponies are essentially on display at all times, and yet you keep finding new and interesting ways of accomplishing such. This sort of thing is why my perverted little ponies invented spells such as Wallflower and some pony else's problem. And no, I'm not going to bother to chastise you for engaging in such activities. We both know what ponies tend to be like, merely for engaging in those activities in such a manner that it causes problems for other ponies. If nothing else, it is highly inconsiderate. Your loving mentor, Princess Celestia. Dear Anon, I'm curious, did you simply stand there and watch them do this, or did you have to sit there and keep a straight face when Twilight explained what happened? Your friend, Tia.
Letter 109.
Dear Princess Dawnbreaker, I found a zombie deer in the Everfree. Yes, I found it! I have no idea as to its origins, which is why I'm making my fuck monkey right. So, here's what happened. I was being a creepy little shit by walking into the Everfree at 3 in the morning, and I apparently wanted to take some sketches of the night sky to see if there were any significant changes to the constellations when viewed in low magic areas. Before I could find a good spot, I heard sticks exploding. There's no other way to describe it. Imagine you have 40 sticks and you put a tiny firecracker in the middle of each one. Now light them all randomly. That's what it sounded like. If I had more brain space for fear, I would have done the normal thing and run away, but instead, I walked straight into the direction it came from. What I found was a lone deer standing in a clearing with a bunch of sticks scattered around it. The deer looked really young, male but not old enough to have antlers. It was just standing there, completely still, staring at nothing. I stayed hidden for a while until a timberwolf suddenly jumped out at it, and the deer went, well, whatever the deer equivalent of ape shit is, deer shit, and tore that poor puppy to pieces. I heard the same exploding stick sound as before, and I realized all the sticks in the clearing were actually from timberwolves. The thing must have killed a dozen of them already. The deer made short work of the timberwolf, not even taking a scratch. After that, it went right back to just standing in place, unmoving, unblinking, and when everything seemed to calm, I walked out and tried to introduce myself because fuck self-preservation. It went deer shit again, so I activated cheats and made a bubble around me. Now that it was closer, I finally noticed the smell. My first instinct was fire, but I remembered you said not to burn things without thinking, so I thought about burning it. Then, I thought about how bad it would be if I didn't burn it. Then I realized I had to run off while I was thinking, and I tried to track it, but I'm pretty shit when it comes to actual skills, so I went back home. The deer zombie had been fairly fresh, judging by the lack of small wounds one would normally see on a creature that can't heal. The lack of wounds also pointed to being an intentional creation, rather than a byproduct of cursed lands, meaning there's a high likelihood of the source being a necromancer or a demon. So yeah, there's a zombie deer running around in the Everfree, and if you'll allow me to capture it, I can more easily trace where it came from, but I understand if you want me to wither away and die because you hate me, and you hate fun, and you only want me to suffer. I'm cool either way. Your professional creepazoid, Spark and Span.
It's funny because Luna is the one who deals with undead problems. Oh, and if we catch the zombie deer, we're naming him Zambi. This is non-negotiable. Love Anon. From Her Royal Highness Dawnbreaker, RE Letter 109.
Dear Anon, I feel as though there is a certain context that I'm missing here regarding why Dawnbreaker relates to the undead and is funny in this context. However, I do understand the humor behind Zambi given our movie night last month, but I still feel it is in poor taste. You'll receive only 1 smirk out of 5. Your friend, Her Royal Highness Dawnbreaker. To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle, I would like to commend you for regarding the decision to not set the undead on fire, not because it would have proven ineffective, though if you are correct regarding intentional creations, it may have been protected against such, but because it would have set the forest on fire in turn, and I feel I have not adequately expressed how angry that tends to make the Everfree. If the Everfree wants to be on fire, it will set itself on fire. It has done so in the past. As for your request, I'll think about it. Your loving mentor, Princess Celestia. Luna, I suppose I should ask, did you reanimate a young buck in the Everfree and set it about attacking whatever I found? If not, I might actually grant Twilight's request to track it. Love, Tia.
There's a lot that has to deal with fire in this one. Like, there's a fire with the orphanage, then a fire with a burning passion of sucking on the titty, and now there's a fire about putting a deer in flames. That is a lot of fire. I mean, it's still fun, though. It's fantastic. Anyway, I'd love to give a very special thank you to my not-on-fire donators. I'll take that. Top donator, Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, Dresdon, Dospo, RuneSight the 9852, CourierCruz CI, Delta Omega, Ryan E. Dragonwolf, Gaggy, Secret Moon, Talrasha, The Toilet Snake, Soul Dragon, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Trey, Pokekiller Zach, Dak Britton, Geo Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, James Dalton, and Teal K. Anderson. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest, without being engulfed in flames.